lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Like #1 selling Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today.
Mason Tractor Co. 4 convenient Kubota locations. On the web at masontractor.com.
New Leaf Community Garden Facebook page to learn more.
I'm River Dragons President Scott Brand, and this November, citizens of the Chattahoochee Valley will have a chance to make a difference. Our opponents have said negative comments. They claim you don't like hockey and you hate puppies. Support the River Dragons this November. I promise you the right to cheer, get loud, and have oodles of family fun. Our opponents have accused the Chattahoochee Valley of not earning our name, the hockey capital of the South, and they say we disrespect kittens. So let's send a message to those fat cats in Mississippi and Carolina. Read my lips. Season ticket plans are now on sale. I'm Scott Brand. I approve this message because I wrote it. Oh yeah, I'll cut your taxes, fix the potholes, and balance my checkbook. Blah, blah, blah.
3 years ago, I was a high school junior dreaming of someday starting my own business. 2 years ago, I signed up for Preview Day at LaGrange College. And 1 year ago, well, today I'm a sophomore business major on my way to a solid career in a field I love. LaGrange can help you realize your dream. Come to Preview Day at LaGrange College. RSVP at lagrange.edu.
This is Jared Rutledge of the Columbus River Dragons, your home for River Dragons hockey in Noonan.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele. Welcome to Connecting Hearts. Connecting hearts of women to resources, information, and to one another. Presented by Creative Heart Studios, 18 Perry Street and Noonan. Now here's your host, Margie Conway.
Moving is a big decision. Selling or buying a home in any market, but especially today's, can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killingsworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. Find us online at killingsworthrealty.com or call 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
Hey guys, this is Dana with Happy Life Nutrition located on 18 Perry Street, downtown Noonan. Hours are 8 to 5, Tuesday through Friday. Come check us out. We will be serving up meal replacement shakes, calorie burning teas, coffees, waffles. We have a kids menu and a workout menu. We do deliveries with a 5-drink minimum or $5 delivery charge if less. You can call ahead for your order. Free Wi-Fi, quiet atmosphere for business meetings or get-togethers. Our number at Happy Life Nutrition is 770-683-5172. Can't wait to see you.
Hello, I'm Pina Payne with Contour Mortgage, and we're so excited. We have just moved to this new company, and we are located at 560 Noonan Crossing Bypass in Noonan next to Art and Jake's, and we have some great products. Our interest rates are better than any other companies, and we also have some great products for the VA. We can do a better deal for you with fees than any other company. We have a lot of different kind of programs.
Hi, I'm Holly Reese. I'm the founder of Warrior Defenders. I'm a certified tactical self-defense instructor, and I specialize in women's self-defense. I teach technical drills for survival skills and education on self-defense tools and how to use them. My journey started in self-defense because I'm a domestic violence survivor. I'm here to empower women, to teach them how to be their own heroes, and to learn today to have a safer tomorrow.
You can find Holly online at www.warriordefenders.com. This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help overcome barriers that prevent their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy. Please visit our website at www.familypatternsmatter.org.
Hi, this is Margie Conway with Creative Hearts Studio, and this is the Connecting Hearts Network program. We've had a lot go on this week. You know, we've talked a little bit about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We've said some things going on at the studio about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this program, we have a breast cancer survivor that has an awesome story that I want her to share with you. I'm sure you will be inspired by it and touched. We thank you for listening in to what we've had going on. I'm going to let you know up front, I've had this sinus thing go on, so if you hear coughing, sorry, I'm trying really hard. But today we have April Guest Fowler. April came to our youth group at our church way back when my daughter was in there, so a long time ago. I'm sitting here telling her I remember when she was 11, and now her daughter's 11. April's mom and dad are very active at our church, and so I'm sure that's going to come out a little bit in her story with some of the questions we'll ask. But thank you, April, for coming in and sharing your story today.
Well, thank you for having me.
April, when I realized it was breast cancer awareness, and I was like, okay, I need somebody to share their story, because even though I love sharing businesses in the area and all the nonprofits in the area and stuff, I really love overcomer stories. You know, that's the ones that inspire everybody and get them into action, so they do form nonprofits and do things they do. But April's breast cancer story has a few twists in it that not all of them do, and I know I've been following it all on Facebook and through your mom, but like I said, my head's a little fuzzy today. You've just gotten clear 1 year? Is that what I'm remembering?
I've been in remission for almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years. Yes. See, I'm way behind on things. But I'm going to let April tell a little bit of her story. But first, April, tell us a little bit about you and your background and what you do.
Well, me, as Miss Margie said, I grew up at Westside with Margie. Grew up, moved out, did on my own, went to college. I am actually a nurse in a hospital in Carrollton. I work on a medical oncology floor, and I stuck with it throughout my diagnosis. I felt like that was the place I needed to be. My manager at the time actually asked me if I needed to transfer just because of everything that was going on, and I was like, you know what, I feel like I need to be here with these people because I understand what they're going through. But I'm married. I have 3 children, 3 daughters. That's a little on the rough side. There's a lot of drama going on. I feel sorry for my husband. He's in a house full of women.
Oh, yeah.
But he's managing. He's still alive. So
yeah, it seems like he's maintained well a couple of times I've seen him.
Yep. But it was definitely a big, not something you would expect.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Tell us about your diagnosis.
Well, I actually went to the gynecologist just for my yearly exam. I told her I was having a little bit of pain in my armpit, and being a nurse, I push and pull on people, and I thought, well, maybe I strained a muscle, but I was going to say something to her, and it just so happened that this pain popped up like maybe a couple of days before my appointment. So I told her about it. She did her exam, and she said, you know, I don't feel anything, but because your mom had breast cancer, we're just going to do a mammogram just to be safe. And it's funny, after I left that appointment, I don't remember feeling that pain in my armpit anymore. It was almost like that pain was there specifically just right at that doctor's appointment.
Right.
So I went and had my mammogram. I think being in the medical field, I can kind of sense when somebody else see something that's not good, and I got that feeling from the technician. After the mammogram, she immediately wanted to do an ultrasound. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that was normal, and then after the ultrasound, the doctor walked in and he said, there is a spot that you need to have biopsied. No. And cancer really didn't cross my mind because I know there's other things it could be, so I was like, it may just be a cyst, so I'm not going to get worried about it. Had the biopsy. I was getting ready for work one evening because I work night shift. When I got the phone call that the doctor told me, he said, I'm sorry, but it's malignant. You have breast cancer. And I just sat there. I didn't cry. I didn't do anything. And my words to him were, well, that sucks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I finished getting ready, and I went to work.
Yeah.
My husband had already gone to work. I called him after I got off the phone with the doctor and let him know. And he also works night shift, so at the time, 2 daughters were at my mom's house spending the night. So when I went over there and broke the news to her, I dreaded telling her because I
Right.
knew she was going to think it was her fault.
Oh, I've talked to her specifically, and yes, she did. I
Yes.
understand that from being a mom, and you do too.
And I told you I was going to cry.
That's okay, honey.
And when I told her, she just started crying, and she was like, I wish it was me.
Oh, yeah. We are all that way with our kids. You are too, and as we go in our story, I know you're going to say that with yours.
Oh, yes. But I went on, I opted for a double mastectomy because I was 33 when I was diagnosed. I knew that I had a greater chance of breast cancer coming back in the opposite breast the older I got. And I was like, I'm only 33. I plan on having a lot of time. So I didn't want to take that chance. So I went with the double mastectomy.
I was sitting out there in the waiting room that day. I can tell you, April does have a lot of family support. Her mom and family, people from our church, and people that's known her for years, like Vicky, as well as her husband and his family, was all out there that day. Yeah.
Yep. So we did that. I went home. I stayed a few days in the hospital and went home looking like an octopus because I had 6 drains.
Oh, goodness.
But after I had all my drains removed, it probably took about 3 weeks. I went back to have my port placed for chemo. So, again, 33 years old, so they always have to do a pregnancy test.
Right.
So I didn't think anything of it. The nurse come back to the room, and she just looked at me, and she said, honey, your test came back positive twice. And I was like, no, it's wrong. You better draw some blood. She was like, oh, we are.
Yeah.
So they drew blood, and then they brought my husband back, and she just stood there and looked at me like, are you going to say something to him? And he was like, what's going on? And I was like, they're trying to tell me I'm pregnant. And he's like, did they draw blood?
They're from a medical family, guys.
Like, yes. So it was probably about an hour, and the doctor walked in, and he said, no port today. You're pregnant.
Yeah.
I started crying. It was not a happy cry.
Yeah.
And I told my husband, I looked over at him, I said, this is all your fault. And the doctor looked at me, he's like, well, partially his fault. So I didn't get my port. Instead, I went and made an appointment with my oncologist, like, what do I do now?
Right, because that's big decisions.
Yes,
right.
I honestly thought he was going to say, well, you need to have an abortion.
Right.
Or, one of us or both of us are going to die.
I remember those conversations because we were praying ardently for you over at the church, yeah.
Well, abortion never came across his mouth.
Good for him.
I did ask. I said, well, this was March when I found out I was pregnant, and baby was not due until November. So I had quite a bit of time. And I asked him, I was like, well, can I do chemo after baby is born? And he looked at me. He said, I do not advise that. He said, you probably will not be here. Or almost gone at that point, because the type of cancer I had was aggressive. So he said, I was like, well, I can't leave my husband with 3 children. That's just, I can't do that. So he said I was supposed to be on 2 chemos. One of them, I had to wait until baby was born. But the first one, he said, you need to go ahead and start this one. It's just going to have to be in your 2nd trimester. I was like, okay. So I started that. One of my coworkers actually gave me a little pink cross. So I took it with me every time to chemo, and I just laid it across my belly and just prayed that it wouldn't hurt my baby.
Yeah. What did they give you any indication of what it could do to the baby or what to expect?
I was told 2nd trimester because all the organs would already be formed in the 1st trimester. And I trusted my oncologist. It made me a little nervous that I was only his 3rd pregnant cancer patient. Well, that's better than being the 1st. But
that's true, but it's not that common either.
No, it is not. But he said the other 2 women had no pregnancy or child complications, so that made me feel a little bit better. But he also gave me stuff where I could read and research myself, so I really like him. So, of course, I was high-risk pregnancy, so I saw my regular obstetrician and then a high-risk. So I was about 18 weeks, and I went to my regular OB just for a regular checkup, and that was about that time they went ahead and did just an ultrasound.
Right.
And that ultrasound tech she was very quiet. Usually they're like, well, here's head, here's this, here's that. She was very quiet, and it didn't set right with me.
Right.
So she got finished. She put me in a room, and I waited a very long time on the doctor. I never had waited that long before. And when she came back, she said, it looks like baby only has 2 chambers in the heart, and you're supposed to have 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I had not cried my entire cancer journey, but I cried then because it had to do with that baby.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, 2 chambers, this child is going to die. And the only reason why she's not dead is because I'm keeping her alive. So we ended up having to go to Eggleston in Atlanta, which is an awesome hospital. And they confirmed everything. We were given 2 choices. They said you can either abort now, or you can have baby and do nothing, and baby will live maybe a week.
Right.
Or you have a series of 3 surgeries that you can go through. They said, but of course it's a lot because they're all open heart surgeries. They're basically almost rearranging.
Right.
Which is very scary, but, I said, we're definitely not going to abort because this baby wasn't supposed to be here to begin with.
Right.
So we did the surgeries, and she is going to be 3 next month.
Yeah.
But she's already had 3 surgeries, and you would not know it by looking at her. But I had to start my second chemo pretty soon after she was born. Mm-hmm. So my treatment just got prolonged. But I had to have fun with some of those nurses at the hospital in Atlanta because they would be like, well, Mom, I don't have another apron to protect you from this x-ray. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. I've already got cancer. You're not going to hurt me. I'll be okay. Yeah. And they're just looking at me like, oh, my goodness, is she for real?
Yeah.
But I have to laugh to keep from crying. Right. That's what I would have to do.
Right.
And again, my treatment got prolonged. My reconstructive surgery got prolonged because I had to make sure baby was okay.
Oh, yeah.
And between the 2 of us, we racked up probably about $1 million in medical bills. And we hardly had to pay any of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how we managed that. I think the people at the hospital, we had people that would give us money.
Right.
And then my manager at the time, obviously I was off of work, and I was worried about having enough time where I could still get a paycheck, and right. She took care of me. She was the best.
Good.
She was the best. So I never went without a paycheck, and but for a while I was mad. I was very mad. I thought, you know what, I can handle cancer. It's no big deal. I got this. And I thought because of everything I was going through, God was going to take care of my baby. And I felt like he didn't. I felt like he failed me. Hmm. But then it was probably her second surgery when she was about 6 months old.
Right.
When it was just the 2 of us sitting in her hospital room. And I was just going back and thinking about everything. I had asked the surgeon on my very first surgery if he could go ahead and place the port so I didn't have to come back. And he said, you got too much going on. That's probably not a good idea.
Right.
Had he placed that port that day, it had been even longer before I figured out I was pregnant, and I would have already started chemo.
That's
and
true.
Baby definitely would not be here.
That's
so
true.
So it's like, well, maybe that was God telling that surgeon it wasn't the right time.
Yeah, he has moved a lot in your story. I mean, we've seen it in many ways, and being mad at God is something that's okay. You can read about it all through the Bible with David and Job and everybody else, but he always comes through.
It took me a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
It took me a while. Sometimes I still get upset. I feel like it's my fault because of what happened to her, because when I had my double mastectomy, I was pregnant.
Right.
It was just too early for that hospital's pregnancy test to show up, is what I'm guessing, because it was early. So I feel like all that medicine, anesthesia, antibiotics, all of that had to do something. Even though the big doctors in Atlanta said no, it had nothing to do with it. I still feel like it's my fault.
Well, and I understand that. I have some moms close to me that feels like things with their kids is their fault, and I know your mom felt that way with you too. We mentioned that, a little while ago. We do that with our kids, but you also know if you hadn't done that, you wouldn't be here to be mom to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you've got 3 lovely girls that needed a mom for that.
And it definitely worries me because I do have 3 daughters.
Right.
It's like, which one is going to get it? Which one? But then everybody tells me, you can't think like that. You can't think like that.
No.
So I know with me being so young, I know when they get older, doctors are going to want them to start getting checked a whole lot sooner.
Well, and that's one thing, if you're offering advice to other people, is probably going to be get your regular exams.
Get checked, yes. I was talking with some of my coworkers the other day. I just don't want to get a mammogram. It's not, I just don't want to do it. It's like, well, it's not comfortable. It's not fun, but it is life-saving.
Right.
Because had I not gotten mine, there's no telling how long it would have taken for me to actually feel a lump. And with my cancer being aggressive, I may not be here had I not had early detection.
Right. And it's, I know breast cancer ran in my family. You know, I don't remember very much about my mom's mom, except she had a double mastectomy back when I was 10, so that was many years ago. Mm-hmm. So when I got older, I had a little scare, so I did the BRCA gene testing. And everybody in my family kind of got mad at me for that, because they were like, if you come back, they automatically assumed I'd come back with it. And if you come back with it, then you're really just sitting there waiting to die. And I'm like, no, that allows you to be aggressive in what you do to take care of your body and to be able to fight it better. But luckily mine came back negative, so, you know, that helped rule out a lot of them. Yes. But those yearly exams are extremely important, no matter how uncomfortable they are. Yes, and I see that a lot in my profession. It's unfortunate, but we have a lot of people that just wait, and then it's too late. Right. And the earlier you catch something, the better they can take care of it. Like you said, yours was very aggressive to begin with. Yes. Yeah. And the doctors could not even feel a lump. Right. So by the time a lump was felt, I could have been stage 2, stage 3. There's no telling. Right. There's no telling. It could have been in both breasts at that time. So I feel like I got lucky, and I feel like that was a little bit of a sign from God. Like, here's some pain so you can ask about it, and then it went away. Right. Right. I don't know what else that could be. I don't either, because I don't remember ever hurting myself. It's like, well, maybe that was him. And you know, one thing I want to point out is I've mentioned April's mom and April's dad, and we've said she went to youth group at our church. Her mom and her dad have very strong faith. You know, he's one of the deacons at our church. I know how April was raised. I know she was raised with a strong faith, and I've seen her testimony. Is it on YouTube now? It was on your church page. On my church page. I don't know. It may be on YouTube. I'm thinking they did put it there. But anyway, when she did her testimony, I know her faith is strong. I don't know your husband that well, because I haven't seen him except in that waiting room. But she got mad at God. We do get mad at God when things happen that we don't understand. You know, whether it's cancer or COVID or tornadoes or death or anything that happens, we do get mad at God. But it's important to realize that He does have it all under control. And somewhere along the line, we're going to level out, and we're going to be a lot better. At this point, are you and baby doing well? We're good. I'm in complete remission. All I have to do is see my oncologist about every 4 months right now. Yes. But as long as my blood work is looking good, he's going to stretch it out and stretch it out and stretch it out. He's like, and then we'll just see each other at Walmart. I don't go to Walmart. It's too many people. It is, but I'm good. And the cardiologist said baby girl's doing good. Now she will, the rest of her life, she will have to have small procedures, and it is a possibility she may have to have a heart transplant in the future. But right now, she's good. I hope that never happens. I'd rather just deal with the little heart she was given. Yeah. And we'll keep praying, and you'll take very good care of her and watch carefully. Yeah. Oh, she is very aware, because she's only 2, but she's already lifting her shirt and showing everybody her scar. Yeah, she's a warrior, just like her mama. Like, it's cute now, but in a few years, we don't need to be lifting our shirt. Well, that's true. So you better make her some T-shirts that say warrior woman, because she is a warrior woman already. Oh, definitely. Yeah, she is. And it is, you mentioned that you were working on the cancer ward. Yes. I strongly believe that God gives us the stories He does. So, like the Bible says, that we comfort others we have been comforted. And I know that you mentioned that it helped you understand some of the people in the ward and what they were going through. It does, because last time I worked, I had a patient. He was about to start chemo, and he was like, "I'm just nervous. I'm so nervous." I said, "Well, I understand." I was like, "I do." I said, "But you'll get through it. It's not going to be fun. You're going to feel bad. It's going to happen, but it's temporary." Oh, yeah. Is what I have to tell everybody. It is temporary. And I didn't used to tell my testimony to my patients, but when I had one patient who told me, "God gave you this testimony to tell, you better tell whoever will listen."
So I did what she said, and I've told anybody who would listen, and I had multiple patients just literally open mouth staring at me as I'm talking to them. And they're like, oh my goodness, thank you so much for telling me that. You don't realize what this has done, how this has helped me. And a lot of times I don't see them ever again. Sometimes I do see them come back, and it's not good. But whenever they tell me, you know, thank you so much, you don't realize how much of a blessing that was.
Oh, right.
I think I am the only nurse on my floor that's had cancer. Now, all my other coworkers, they're awesome. They take great care of them. But I think it's a little different when you actually understand.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
When you understand what somebody is going through.
Absolutely.
And just take the time and sit with them and let them speak and you speak. Now, I really don't have time to do that, but it's like, you know what? It's okay.
It's important.
If I'm, you know, making them feel better, then it was worth it.
Yeah. And I will tell you that when I approached April about speaking, she was like, absolutely. I told God, he gave me this story. I'm going to tell it wherever I can. It's very inspirational. It is very, you know, we make it through these hard times. No matter how rough they seem, we can make it through. Really, the only way I know anybody makes it through is through faith in God. But, you know, a lot of people say they do just fine without it. I personally don't see how they do.
I don't either, but I also had a very awesome family, a very supportive family. I know not everybody has that, and I feel bad for those people, but my husband was awesome.
Yes, he was. I've watched him.
He is awesome. I've had female patients who were diagnosed, and they said, my husband left me because he doesn't want to deal with what's going to happen. Yeah. And it's like, that is just so heartbreaking. It's like when you take those vows, it's for better or for worse in sickness and in health.
Well, I think part of that is probably a faith foundation too, because we take those vows seriously. We kind of had a marriage seminar at the church this weekend, and it was like, you know what? Even on the days I don't love her, I think my fear of God gets into me more than my fear of anything else, and I'm not going anywhere. But
well, I remind him that he's worth more dead than alive too.
Yeah, so that works. I've done that with Ricky. We've done that with Ricky a lot of times.
No, but he's awesome. My parents, everybody in my family has just been so supportive. My coworkers were. It was just awesome to have that huge support system, and I know not everybody does, but I was very blessed.
Yes,
very.
And I'll tell you what I tell the girls that come through some of the groups that I do is when you have a story to tell, when you start telling it, it's like you take your power back out of it. It's not ruling you anymore. You've turned it around. Yes. And so I thank you for sharing your story with us. You know, it's going to reach people that you can't imagine, and I'm sure they'll be encouraged with it, whether they're going through cancer or not, because there's many facets to this story. And most of all, with that precious little one that you have, we keep her in prayer all the time. We love to see updates about her, and we will continue to do so because she is a warrior woman that needs it. Yeah. Do you have any tips or any hints or anything you'd like to say to people before we close?
Well, definitely early detection. Yes. So it's not comfortable, it's not fun, but go to the doctor. They won't bite.
It might feel like it, but they don't.
Feel like they won't bite. And I know one thing I had to, for some reason, whenever I heard battling cancer, that always made me think of, well, battle, that one way or the other, you may live, you may die. And it's like, you know, I always thought of it as this isn't a battle, this is a knockout.
Right.
That's how I viewed it. And it's like, they didn't even have a chance. People just got to remember this is just going to be a chapter in their story. It's not going to be their whole story.
That's
just
it.
A chapter.
And you telling people that it's temporary means a big deal, because when you're in the middle of the battle, sometimes it feels like that's the whole story.
Yes, and you feel like giving up because you feel bad and you look bad, and it's like it'll get better.
Yeah, don't give up. You know, don't give up. Put your faith in God. Learn all that you can. You know, she's talking about she researched. I'm big on research and learning. Learn all that you can. Listen to the people that know what they're doing. Listen to people who have gone through it, and it will all help you go through just a little bit better.
Yep.
Thank you for coming and talking to us today,
April. Thank you for having
me. You know, we have breast cancer awareness things. We're doing a fundraiser over at the studio on Friday afternoon, so you can come out and craft with us, and all the proceeds are going to breast cancer awareness awareness this month. I know that there is, I think it's the 19th, there is a purple ribbon thing at the Women's Domestic Violence Shelter over in Carrollton that you can find out more about on our timeline, because, you know, that's something that we support big time. And other than that, I just want to, you know, remind you to be there for one another, to listen, to share stories, to listen to each other, and be the support and comfort when they have, because not everybody has it in their family, just like April said. Thank you for listening to us. You can walk up and down Perry Street, open that door, yell Margie, I'll come out, or Dana will say she's not here today, and then you got to ride around town and look for that little Mini Cooper, because I'm always right where it is. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to Connecting Hearts of women to resources, information, and to one another. Presented by Creative Hearts Studios, 18 Perry Street, here in Noonan. 404-528-8461. Until next time, have a wonderful day.
Hey Nissan, how do you get to the top?
Calculating. Proceed to 1959. Take a hard left in East Africa at the 71 Safari Rally. Veer right for 19 off-road championships in the Baja Desert. Proceed towards Moab. Take the trail to Hell's Revenge. Include steep incline. Continue for the next 1,000,000 miles.
Where to first again?
60 years, millions of miles, and the capability to take you anywhere. This is the new Nissan.